Hey guys, it's your friend Sarah here to do another video. So today's video is going to be about how to get hired on Care.com. My first tip is to make a free profile. So whenever you're creating an account on Care.com, you have the option to create a free profile or a premium profile. Now the premium profile costs money. There's no need for you to create a premium profile. The parents are the ones who typically pay for the premium membership, so you don't even have to worry about that. Tip number 2 is you want to make sure that you have your references ready. So go ahead and do this early on when you're making your Care.com profile. Contact your friends, contact your family, contact the previous people that you've worked for, and ask them to go on Care.com, to follow the link that you provide them, and to write you a really good reference. Now this is extremely important because my first ever nannying position, the mom told me that the only reason why she responded to my message is because she saw my review. So it's really important that you have reviews and references on your page. It doesn't even necessarily have to be babysitter related. Just have someone write you a reference. Tip number 3 is you want to make your bio. So this is really important. Parents do look at your profile. You want to make sure that your bio looks professional, it's clear, there's no spelling errors. And I will insert a picture of my bio so that you guys can take a screenshot and kind of read over it and see what I put on my bio. But on your bio, you want to put your school experience, what you like to do as a nanny. But I've had lots of compliments from parents about my bio. They always say that it looks professional. Tip number 4 is your pay rate. The lowest pay rate that I've ever accepted is $10 an hour, and I don't recommend that pay rate because it was really hard for me to survive making $10 an hour. So these are the minimum pay rates that I recommend. Your pay rate needs to be based on obviously your experience, your age, if you graduated or not. If you're 18 or 19 years old, I recommend that your pay rate is at least $13 or $14 an hour. If you're 20 to let's say 21, 22, but you're still in school, then I recommend that your minimum pay rate is $15 an hour. And then if you have graduated from your undergrad, then I recommend that your pay rate is at least $20 an hour plus. So I'm currently making $20 an hour. With the cost of everything increasing, your bills are increasing, your rent is increasing, your utilities are increasing, groceries are increasing, gas has nearly doubled. You really need to increase your pay rate as well. And also with your pay rate, you want to stand firm. There's going to be families who want to negotiate with you your pay rate, but what I like to say is that my pay rate is non-negotiable. My pay rate is the minimum that I'm willing to accept. So be prepared to turn down jobs if they don't want to offer you your pay rate. If they want to offer you a few dollars less, just turn it down and wait for the family who's willing to pay you your pay rate. Tip number 5 is your availability. So I recommend that you do not update your availability on your profile. I recommend that you just leave it blank. The reason why is because one of my previous families that I worked with, the mom, she told me that the first time that she was trying to hire a nanny, she looked at my profile, but she saw that my availability wouldn't work with her schedule, so she didn't message me. So that's not what we want. We don't want parents to think that we're unavailable. We don't want people to not message us because they think that we're unavailable. Tip number 6 are the services that you're willing to provide. The services that I'm willing to provide are anything that revolves around children. Laundry, but only the baby laundry. I wash the baby bottles. Anything that the baby dirties during my shift, that's what I'll clean up. If a family is asking for light housekeeping, make sure that you ask them what they mean by light housekeeping, because what you don't want to be doing is you shouldn't do any sweeping, you shouldn't do any loading the dishwasher, you shouldn't do any family laundry. Your job is to focus on the kids. It's not to focus on doing the housekeeping. And say that in the interview, because that's not your job. If they want a housekeeper, then they should hire a housekeeper. That's a separate position. Tip number 7 is some of the other stuff that you need to do on your Care.com profile. So you want to make sure to upload a few pictures on your profile. Obviously, you want these pictures to look like what you would want your future nanny to look like, right? So I'll insert a few pictures of what I'm currently using on my Care.com profile. And you also need to update your education, your qualifications, if you're first aid certified, if you're CPR certified, If you are a non-smoker, make sure that you put that on your profile. If you have special needs experience. Tip number 8. So here's the fun part. So now it's time to finally apply to jobs. When you're applying to jobs, make sure that you're reading these jobs. Make sure that you're looking at what times that they're wanting you to work. Make sure that you're looking at the pay rate that they're willing to offer. Make sure that you're looking at the job listing in itself, what they're asking for. Also, when applying to jobs, you want to make sure that you are being very, very diligent and consistent. So you want to be on Care.com several times a day, checking for new job postings. When parents make a job posting, sometimes they get a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of messages that they receive. So if you wait 5 days to apply to a job, there might be 30 other applicants that applied before you. You're less likely to get a response if you're the 30th applicant. But if you're one of the first applicants, if you apply as soon as you see that job was posted, if you apply and maybe you're the 3rd applicant, you're the 4th applicant, you're still more likely to get a message. Tip number 9 is to always respond to messages. You don't want to go a few days without checking your messages because you might be offered a position. You didn't know it, you didn't respond to the message for a few days. So the parent might assume that you are unavailable and they might go on to the next applicant, and that's not what we want. So it's very important that you check your Care.com messages every day. And the last tip number 10, is to be patient. You know, you might not get hired immediately on Care.com, but just make sure to be patient. Eventually, you should get hired if you follow all of these tips. Yeah, sometimes it takes a month for you to get a response. Sometimes it takes you a few days. All right, so those are my tips on how to get hired as a nanny on Care.com. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.